When people think about the part of the world that I love, the part I call home here in East Tennessee in the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, they often think about Dolly Parton. Dolly with her wit, with her storytelling, her music, her fire, her intelligence, and her philanthropy, her great generous heart. And it's all of those qualities that I know in the neighbors and in the culture that I've been proud to call home for so many years. And yet Appalachia is also a place of impoverishment. Impoverishment because of lack of investment, impoverishment because of unregulated coal companies coming in and putting people through terrible work conditions and now mountaintop removal. There's just been a terrible sense of not only disempowerment but impoverishment that's lasted for generations. I believe that Unitarian Universalism has a place, a voice, and a purpose in southern Appalachia, here in East Tennessee, that has not yet been realized. When I've seen people hear about the love that won't quit, about the love that leaves nobody out, I've seen them respond and say, yes, yes, that matches what I know of the holy, that matches what I've learned from neighbors who've cared for me, who loved me. And yet this takes institutional intention and investment. It means that we've got to be willing as a faith to go to the communities that are in dire need of a word of hope, in dire need of some support in coming together to be about progressive values, to be about inclusion, to be about standing up and sitting by and rolling forward for our neighbors as much as we do for ourselves, to people who are willing to answer the call of love. So our project, Moonshot, here in East Tennessee, as well with our friends and fellow travelers in Atlanta, here in East Tennessee, we're going to be investing in two communities, in Kingston and Lenoir City, both of them strategically picked as places that are crossroads, that are easy to reach from more rural counties, and yet themselves are small towns, towns that have in recent years realized an influx of people living from elsewhere, from the north and from the south, coming up to form new Kingston and a new Lenoir City. These are historic East Tennessee towns, and yet we see in them potential to do a new thing, to bring about a new community, to inhabit and to hold a space for Unitarian Universalism. When Unitarian Universalism gets a toehold, gets a foothold in these communities, we're going to see them begin to come to life. We're going to see them begin to animate values and virtues of our progressive faith that they have not had yet in their story. That means more rights, more safety for immigrants and for migrant workers. That means more of a voice and more support for women and for gender non-conforming folks. That means that people of color in Lenoir City and Kingston and places beyond are going to be able to find support and allies and even a safe sanctuary, a place to call home and come gather strength for the week to come. All of this is possible. We've scattered them out. We've scattered out these towns. We know that there's potential there. We know that there are people who are hungry for the liberating power of our progressive faith. But it's going to take your dollars, your investment, your willingness to believe in these underserved communities, your willingness to support the Appalachian towns that have been for so long ignored and neglected. And your understanding that it's here in these places, in these out-of-the-way, off-the-highway places, that Unitarian Universalism can and will flourish throughout this new century. I hope that you are moved by the power and the prospect of what we're trying to do, and that you want to be part of it, and that you will dig deep and commit your money to the flourishing potential in Kingston and Lenoir City and also in Atlanta. Thank you so much for whatever you're able to do.